Fishbowl. Colton Herta joins us after leading 81 of 85 laps, driving the number 26 Gainbridge Honda for Andretti Global with Kurt Agajanian. Again, his first win since May of 2022. That's some 41 starts ago. 8th career win, led every session, which is remarkable and believed to be the first time in a record that has happened. So it climbs to 4th in points, by the way, 57 out of first place, and Alex Palou. That's a perfect weekend.
It's awesome. Well, I did not lead round 2 of qualifying.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go.
But I did get the pole, so I don't
Room
know
for improvement then.
Yes, we can do better next week. No, I mean it's amazing. It's disappointing when you have success in the series and then you don't get it for a long time. So 2 years without a win is very tough on everybody, on the team, on me, on the guys. We all, kind of demand the most out of ourselves, and we demand the most out of each other. And it's for whatever reason just hasn't gone our way. We've had speed, we've had plenty of podiums, we've had a lot of poles, a lot of top 5s, but no wins. And so it feels great to finally get one back.
Congratulations. All right, we'll open it up for questions in person, and then time permitting, take some off of Zoom as well. Joey, lead us off here.
Obviously, winning is fun. Winning is good. Having it be so long. Is the emotions more relief?
Yes.
Just,
Yeah. Just finally get it done. I don't think I had any self-doubt myself or in the team or in anybody that we're working with, that we couldn't win again or anything like that. But it is difficult to take weekend after weekend, when it starts compounding into years. It's very difficult to be happy about a performance when it's not a win after that long of a time.
And do you think this kind of sets up for an opportunity, even though I don't know how it might be viewed for yourself, but if you view it as a chance for a long shot or what have you, but do you think this could kickstart a final run, a push for a title?
It's possible. We were in testing, we were quite a bit better than Alex at Milwaukee. That's not to say that they're not going to find more speed when we go back, but that's a big points weekend. That's basically double points with 2 races there. We've had success at Portland. We're on to basically win there last year until we got a speeding penalty. We've had really good cars at Gateway, qualified 2nd there last year. So there's a lot of tracks that we've had success at in the past coming up. And so I've never put my head down and said, the championship is over at any point, just because you never know in IndyCar. It will take a little bit of help. You might need to have a few heartbreaks here and there. But we've been gaining points on them for a little bit now, so hopefully that can continue.
Patrick and then Jack, go ahead.
Considering, talk about the relief factor, but you're sure you're still going to celebrate this? You plan to celebrate it here, go back home first?
I've got a simulator tomorrow, so I'm going to Indy tonight. So no celebrating until maybe a few days. We've got meetings and I've got a simulator, but maybe when I'm back home. But I don't need to celebrate. I'm just happy that we finally did it, and it kind of reignites me. We have a 4-week break coming up, and it sucks because all I want to do is, even after 3 weekends back to back to back, I just want to go race again and have a chance at another win.
Just a general question. What about your team? You had the simulator. When I talked to some of your crew guys, and they were ecstatic to have the week off because of how long this has been going. Can you talk to that for, again, with all this big relief, and then now some of those guys actually get a little vacation too?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think people don't realize on these back-to-back weekends, these cars get stripped down and taken apart, and they're basically rebuilt from a bare chassis in about a day and a half until they're put back on haulers and shipped wherever they are. So that means 12-hour days, 13-hour days, and then Wednesday comes around, you have to fly out Wednesday, and then you have to go the race weekend, set up on Thursday, practice on Friday, qualifying on Saturday, race on Sunday, fly back Sunday night, usually get back 2, 3 a.m. for them on the team charter, and then Monday morning you're in the shop at 6 a.m. doing another 12, 13-hour day. So I think for them it is a lot more of a relief than the drivers. Obviously, we get a lot more sleep than they do on race weekends and off race weekends. So there is a high stress factor, and obviously everybody understands everyone has a family and whatnot. So it is good for them that they have a break. Although, like I said, like if we have simulator days, they're going to be working on the car. It's not really a break. It's just more of a, you don't have to leave home on the weekend. You don't need to do 12, 13-hour days every day for 7 days a week for the last 3 weeks.
So no real celebration, but I'm assuming victory tacos are in order?
Oh, yes, sir. I just got to figure out when and where. That's going to be the
Not
thing.
tonight, maybe.
Well,
What do you
maybe. I'm
think?
flying back to
On
Indy.
the,
So
on the way to the airport?
yeah.
Or when you get to Indy?
Maybe in Indy. I'm sure people will give me recommendations.
I'm sure that'll happen. You know where to go in Indy probably anyway, though, so.
There's a few
Okay.
places.
Jack, go ahead.
During the second stint, do you feel like the guy behind you was faster than you?
Yes and no. I wasn't pushing because I knew they said we'd do a certain amount of laps. I knew what that number was. I didn't know what the tires were going to be like, so there was no reason for me to push. And, he was fine. Kyle was fine just sitting there and riding at that point and also saving his tires. So I think both of us could have gone quite a bit faster, but didn't feel the need to a lot of the race and didn't feel the pressure to. As soon as Kyle told me, that he was getting pressure, the team told me, then I would pick up the pace a little bit. But yeah, we were able to control the race. We didn't really need to show our full pace and go win by 10 or 15 seconds, just because the cars were so solid.
So coming into the pit together is kind of strategy
I don't know.
to keep the third guy behind you.
I'm not sure. If I was Kyle, I would try an overcut or an undercut. But I think the team wanted this 1-2 so badly that I think it was maybe partly that. But there was no instruction from anybody that we weren't allowed to race or we had to pit a certain way or anything like that. That's just how it turned out to be, but I'm not sure why.
Let's go up row 2 and row 3 here. Yep. Thank you.
Hey, Colin, congrats. Obviously, your third pole of the season, and previous times you've been derailed by yellows or other things. Just how did you stay composed throughout this race, which had a bunch of restarts, and what was sort of the message during the red flag?
Yeah, I feel like I never get like the 85 lap full green races to win. It's always like red flags and yellows at the end. But it's good. It makes you work a lot harder for it. So you feel a lot better when it happens. But yeah, it is crazy. It was a crazy race. I was obviously not able to watch it, but I saw a little bit on the screens at some points. I don't know how great the passing was or whatnot, but I felt like you could pass when I got up to some of the slower cars, able to get by them super easy. All around, it was a fun race.
140 on-track passes today, so, yep. Go ahead, sir.
Colton, after your win at Long Beach 2021, I asked you if it was the right time to call you the best Hertha in IndyCar history. I asked the same question again.
I don't think I get to make that decision. Somebody else will have to make it for me.
More in person. We'll go back to Joey, and then Archie, stand by. We're coming to you next, buddy.
We ended up looking up the stat, and if you track Long Beach, Detroit, and now here, Honda have swept the podium in all 3 races. I mean, 2 of those being pretty hybrid, obviously. Can you kind of just speak to, what's there for the street courses for you guys?
I think it's a lot of things. I think typically we have had really good cars there. I think Ganassi has brought really good cars to street courses. But then on the engine side, it plays into our hands a lot more on the lower end stuff. Once we get to the higher end stuff, we don't have that competitive edge. So in street courses, we do have an edge. But it kind of flips and changes throughout the season. So it is kind of surprising to see that that happen. But a lot of things go into it. Long Beach was a field race. Maybe
one more. Archie, stand by. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, James Jordan, Wide World of Motorsports. What about the Toronto track that suits your driving style, maybe the team style?
It's definitely a team thing. You know, we bring rocket ships here, and it makes it so much easier on us. You know, I think if it was driving style, you would see, you know, maybe just me or maybe just Kyle up at the front consistently, or Marcus, but we're all up there. So I think it kind of shows that the guys have a really good street course package. We have at pretty much every street course that we've gone to this year, and that seemed to be consistent the last few years.
Let's take one off Zoom. We have time for that. Archie O'Reilly, go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. Congrats, Colton. But first of all, I mean, it seemed like quite a release on the way back into the pits with some quite impressive donuts. Can you please just describe that celebration and just the release of emotion that you felt after taking the checkered flag?
I love doing donuts, and this engine's like getting ripped out after this race, so I can destroy it as much as I want. Although Honda won't like that because they like to rebuild them and keep them in cycle, but that one might be destroyed. So apologies for that. But I hate when I don't get to do donuts. And this was kind of like the perfect race to win because this engine's, like I said, coming out, so I got to do them.
Good stuff. And can you just please explain what happens to your mindset after a period so extended, I guess, without a victory? Does that become a burden, and how can you kind of avoid that frustration getting the better of you?
No, I mean, it's not frustration. It's just eagerness almost. You know, for me it was, you know, hunger. You know, I never got down about it, but you know, there were times maybe of frustration where places that I thought I could win and it didn't happen. Yes, but I think over the season, I think you just get hungrier for it and you want it more. It does make you work harder, and I think that's a good thing. But I'd prefer it if we just won a lot more.
Congrats, Colton. Enjoy the break. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks, Archie. Anyone else? Before we wrap up, we got a couple more things, so stand by. Colton, you're not going anywhere for now, but congratulations. We're up to the news conference. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Again, Colton Herta, our winner here at the Ontario Honda Dealers. Oh, we have one more? Sorry, I missed you.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Do you have any tips for someone who wants to break into racing? If you saw like a kid who, you know, wants to be like you in the future, what would you tell them?
You know, I think it depends how old they are, and that would kind of decide on what to do. I think the best option is always outdoor go-karts, not rental go-karts and not electric indoor go-karts. You're not going to be a race car driver that way. You have to go outdoor karting and actually have something that has some speed in it, slick tires that have actual grip, and a chassis that isn't mangled up like most of those places are. And yeah, it's fairly inexpensive. It's going to be the most inexpensive thing you'll be able to do in racing, and it is some of the best racing. So you can go out there without owning anything to a lot of local tracks. You can rent stuff, you can rent gear, and that's an easy way to get into it and decide if you want to then spend all of your money doing it or not.
Thank you.
Because it's not cheap, right? All right, one more. Go ahead.
Hi, Catalina from City TV. This event is something that Canadian motorsport fans look forward to every summer, so I just wanted to ask you, what do you love most about coming to Canada and Toronto to compete?
I like seeing all the grumpy faces on Lakeshore when I drive my car out of the parking garage. You know, I don't know, the city's awesome. I think it has a lot of different cultures, a lot of different great cuisine, and it's an exciting city, great sports. And so I think it's a privilege whenever we get to come here. I hope this track stays on the schedule for my whole career. You know, I think everyone that you meet here is extremely kind. So I guess the stereotype about Canadians is correct. Good stereotype to have. But it's it's a pleasure whenever we get to come out here. It's really cool.
Last call. Yeah, it was a fun weekend. Congratulations. Colton Herta, winner here at the Ontario Honda Dealers, Indy, Toronto. Thanks everyone for a